Now, could you explain for me and people who aren't super sure about it, what is Rogue Squadron?
So let me Google it. Welcome back to the R&S Podcast. This week, the R stands for Rhinoceros and the S stands for Sasquatch. How are we doing tonight, Rhinoceros?
I'm doing pretty great, Sasquatch. You're looking extra hairy today.
Oh, God. Yeah, it's true. I haven't shaved my beard in a couple weeks. I'm starting to look a little haggard, a little scraggly. But, oh, well, look, just give me some just give me beef jerky. I'll be good to go. What's it called? I almost said Jack Daniel's beef jerky. That unfortunately is not a thing as far as I'm aware.
Sounds good, though. I would love to try some of that.
Really does. Shout out to Jack Links. Please sponsor us. Anyways, so we're doing things a little bit different tonight because we had the big Disney Plus investor call last Thursday. We're going to try to record 2 podcasts back to back. This one is going to be kind of briefly going over everything that was related to Star Wars and Marvel in the Disney Plus investor call. And then right after that, if I'm still alive, we're going to try and crank out another podcast recording going over Chapter 15 of The Mandalorian, The Believer. So, Riley, how about you take us away? Let's talk about all 13 Lucasfilm announcements and all 25 things that Marvel went over.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and just for fun, I wanted to read through the names of everything they announced because Disney obviously owns a lot of things. So I have them in order of what they were announced through ESPN, Hulu, FX, Star Wars, and Lucasfilm, National Geographic, Disney TV Studios, Disney Animation, Pixar, and Marvel. Those were all the things that had announcements in them. So if you wouldn't mind, let me read through everything they announced. Man in the Arena, 30 for 30, NFL Primetime, Detail, Peyton's Places, Little Fires Everywhere, Only Murders in the Building, The Dropout, Dopesick, 9 Perfect Strangers, The Handmaid's Tale, Mrs. America, Devs, A Teacher, The Old Man, American Horror Stories, Platform, Reservation Dogs, Why, The Last Man, Alien Series, Shogun, Rangers of the New Republic, Ahsoka, Mando Season 3, Andor, Obi-Wan Kenobi, The Bad Batch, Star Wars Visions, Lando, The Acolyte, A Droid Story, Rogue Squadron, New Star Wars feature film, Willow, Indiana Jones, Children of Blood and Bone, Cousteau, Genius Season 4, Secrets of the Whales, A Real Bug's Life, America the Beautiful, Limitless with Chris Hemsworth, Welcome to Earth with Will Smith, The Mighty Ducks, Game Changers, Turner and Hooch, Big Shot, Beauty and the Beast, the prequel series, Swiss Family Robinson, Percy Jackson and the Olympians, The Mysterious Benedict Society, Hocus Pocus 2, 3 Men and a Baby, Safety, Keenan Lowe Story, Greek Freak, Chris Paul Biography, Flora and Ulysses, Cheaper by the Dozen, Diary of a Wimpy Kid, Ice Age Adventures of Buck Wild, Night at the Museum, Jungle Cruise, Lion King prequel, The Little Mermaid, Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers, Pinocchio, Peter Pan and Wendy, Disenchanted, Sister Act 3, Cruella, Raya and the Last Dragon, Baymax, Zootopia Plus, Tiana, Moana series, Iwaju, Encanto, Soul, Spark Shorts, Inside Pixar, Pixar Popcorn, Doug Day's Cars series, Win or Lose, Luca, Turning Red, Lightyear, WandaVision, Doctor Strange 2, Spider-Man 3, Falcon and the Winter Soldier, Black Widow, Loki, What If, Shang-Chi, Miss Marvel, Captain Marvel 2, Eternals, Hawkeye, She-Hulk, Moon Knight, Secret Invasion, Ironheart, Armor Wars, The Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, I Am Groot, Thor Love and Thunder, Blade, Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania, Black Panther 2, and Fantastic Four. Just, that's so much. It was like a 3.5-hour call. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, I learned a couple things about business there. You kind of sounded like the lector at a high school or college graduation that's just reading off all the names and has to tag out for a minute. That's what it must have felt like.
I read it a bit faster recently, but I realized I wanted it to be audible. So, that was everything they announced. Now, we're going to start breaking down some of the stuff they announced for Lucasfilm and Marvel. We're going to start with Lucasfilm, or Star Wars specifically. The first thing they announced were 2 tie-in shows related to The Mandalorian, both still directed and developed by Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni. The first one is called Rangers of the New Republic, which is that rumored Cara Dune show. And the second one is Ahsoka, which we can seem to assume will be kind of the Rebels sequel that we've heard about as well.
Well, I mean, I'm going to counter that a little bit just because, they haven't mentioned the Rebels sequel show yet. I'm thinking that the Rebels sequel show is probably animated. That's just what I'm thinking. So maybe Ahsoka has her own thing. I don't know. Then again, we don't really know anything about the Rebels sequel show. So I will say that I think the big tie-in, or they were talking about how with the Ahsoka show and the Rangers of the New Republic show, that it's going to come together for one big tie-in, like end game.
There's going to be, it said, a culminating event between Rangers, Ahsoka, and Mandalorian.
Yeah, so I'm thinking it's got to be Thrawn, right?
It's got to be Thrawn. I mean, it was teased in Mandalorian, and that episode 5 of this past season was like the hidden pilot for the Ahsoka show.
Hmm.
Um, I think that the hidden pilot for Rangers was the end of last episode, episode 6.
Yeah,
Yeah.
where it turns out Cara Dune's now a marshal or whatever.
Hmm.
So I think that Rangers of the New Republic, to me, I think that show is going to star Cara Dune and Bo-Katan potentially.
That would make sense.
Yeah, and then
Though
Ahsoka.
Bo-Katan could also feature in Ahsoka.
Yeah, no, easily. I think Bo-Katan is an easy tie-in character between both shows.
And I think Tamir Morrison is going to be getting a lot more acting credits because he could play Boba Fett, he could play Cody, he could play Rex, he could play Wolf. There's a lot of characters he can start playing in both, in all 3 of these shows.
You really
So,
can.
It's going to be crazy.
It will be. All right, let's move on to the next. We got a long list here.
Yes. Next, we had the announcement that Mando Season 3 will be starting. The first episode will be debuting on Christmas of 2021, a bit later than usual. They have been starting in October. It's now going to start on Christmas instead of ending on Christmas. So,
Sad.
yeah, it's a pushback of about 2 months, but I'm assuming we're going to have some sort of content that has it pushed back so that they're not cannibalizing each other.
Mhm.
So maybe that means if you're a Star Wars fan, there's some Star Wars there. If you happen to be a Marvel fan as well, you might have some Marvel TV show there, just to kind of hold you over until Mando comes out.
Yeah, and I can only assume that it got pushed back maybe because of COVID stuff. I mean, we're pretty fortunate that season 2 wasn't pushed at all. So
Yeah.
I mean, not a big deal, but I'll miss seeing some Grogu around Halloween.
Yeah. The next thing that they talked about was some behind the scenes footage with how The Mandalorian was filmed, kind of a Spark Notes version of what we saw in the episode of the gallery dedicated to their stagecraft
Mhm.
idea. They also mentioned they were expanding locations. One of those locations, they'll be putting that awesome like 360 screen thing they used to film The Mandalorian. They're putting one in London, which is where our next show starts filming, Andor.
Mhm.
Andor was announced to have begun filming 2 weeks ago in London. The show was created by Tony Gilroy, who is responsible for creating the Bourne Identity movies. So, great guy who knows what he's doing with spy thrillers, coming in to direct a spy thriller. Of course, Diego Luna returns along with other new cast members such as Stellan Skarsgård, Andrea Arona, Fiona Shaw, Denise Goff, Kyle Soller, and Genevieve O'Reilly, who will be playing Mon Mothma. There were confirmed to be 12 episodes in the sizzle we got by the art director.
So I'm very excited about Andor. I wasn't really at first when I first heard it announced, just because kind of like what they covered in the sizzle reel, where Diego Luna said it was bittersweet on the red carpet for Rogue One because he was just like, this is the only time I'm playing this character. And now I'm not crazy about characters dying and then we bring in new content with them even after they're gone. But I am very excited to see a spy thriller in the Star Wars universe.
Yeah, these new genres they're bringing in, I'm super excited for.
I really am too. The only couple things that I picked up from there was, first of all, I'm very excited that Stellan Skarsgård is going to be in this. I've seen him in a few things. He's phenomenal. I think he's going to be great in an espionage role.
Yeah, it's going to be
And
awesome.
I'm ecstatic that they're bringing back Genevieve O'Reilly to play Mon Mothma, so we can see the early days of the rebellion. And someone noticed in the sizzle reel that we could see some concept art for a Venator in this is a reel. So I'm super excited when there's Empire Age content, but it shows going back to see old Clone Wars tech. I don't know why. I just get giddy whenever I see that.
I think there's a theory, at least I think that concept art of the Venator might have it show up on Braca. We could see Braca in live action.
That'd be really cool.
Yeah, and there's also later on another thing that we got to see that might also be Braca again. So we could see Braca 3 separate times in like video game, animation, and live action.
We also saw that part of the concept art that was hanging up on a wall for the Andor sizzle reel. I believe that there's part of it that's actually blurred out. So wonder what they're trying to hide there.
Yeah, they might be hiding some big old spoilers. So after Andor, the seemingly biggest announcement came with Obi-Wan Kenobi. We already knew about the series, but there's some more information came on Thursday. It is set 1 decade, 10 years after Revenge of the Sith. The big announcement was that Hayden Christensen will be returning as Darth Vader.
Mm-hmm.
I am so excited to see him.
I really am too.
It is going to be directed by Deborah Chow, who directed one of the Mandalorian episodes in season one.
She directed 2 episodes.
Two episodes.
She directed The Sin, which was chapter 3, and she directed The Reckoning, which was chapter 7. So 2 of the best episodes from season 1.
Nice. Yeah. Obi-Wan Kenobi was also confirmed to have 6 episodes. It's a limited run series, and the production begins in March of 2021. So maybe expect to see it in like July of 22. It could be like a summer fall kind of thing.
I'm super excited for this show. A couple things that we've heard so far. Well, Kathleen Kennedy said that Obi-Wan and Vader are going to face down again, which I am very excited for. I know there's some people that are saying that from A New Hope, there's that line where Vader says, when we last met, you were the master and I was the apprentice and stuff like that. I was like, well, that's a little bit of a vague line. They can definitely work around that. I just want to see an actual Vader versus Obi-Wan duel, purely because, in A New Hope, it was, the first Star Wars movie, so they didn't know what they wanted a lightsaber duel to look like. But now I'm just super excited for that. We're also hearing a lot of rumors about Cody being in the Obi-Wan show.
Yes.
So I would love to see Empire Age Commander Cody in the 212th or whatever he has then, hunting down Obi-Wan, because I'm sure there's going to be an emotional scene in there somewhere. So.
Oh yeah, and Cody's one of the confirmed. Obviously, we saw him turn in Order 66 in Revenge of the Sith, but he didn't die. He's still operating. So we could see Cody still operating, trying to take down Jedi, specifically Obi-Wan, in the series, in addition to everything else we might see.
Right, and I was seeing something on Twitter earlier. I don't know how confirmed this is. I don't know where it came from. Sorry, I didn't save that before. But it sounds like all of Obi-Wan isn't going to be taking place on Tatooine. There's rumors that there's a couple other worlds and even an ocean planet involved. So I'm very curious to see what mission draws Obi-Wan off of Tatooine, because the way I was imagining the show so far was that he somehow was tracked down to Tatooine or something like that. But then again, if they tracked him down to Tatooine, how is he still able to hide out there 10 years later during the time of A New Hope?
Yeah. And I think that if he gets to Tatooine, which of course we'll probably see him, the title card fades in with sand. I assume Tatooine's important. We get to see a 10-year-old Luke Skywalker. So that'll be kind of interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah. The next thing they announced was The Bad Batch, which of course was already announced, but we got a new official trailer for The Bad Batch. It's all kind of a bunch of crazy scenes all thrown together, besides the scene when we see them flying to Kamino, on Kamino, and stuff like that. But other things that we see big in that trailer are that we see who we assume to be Fennec Shand off of the helmet style that she was wearing, which could explain why something she mentions in The Believer, the newest Mandalorian episode. It could explain why she mentioned something in that episode. There's a possible early Dark Trooper prototype and those big, tall, robot-looking things in the trailer. Dark Troopers were the things that flew in Mandalorian Season 2, Episode 6. There are also possible early Death Troopers that we see that could be Cody that I've also seen. But in that montage of planets that we're flying through, of course, there was Kamino. There was a desert-looking planet, but seemed to be more populated than Tatooine, so I heard that it could be Zygeria, which is the planet where the cat people slavers lived in the Clone Wars. The watery sort of blue planet could be Adu, which is the Rogue One planet where they fly, where they're working on the Death Star. The next one, that foresty planet, could be either Felucia, which is the planet where Ilia Secura dies in Revenge of the Sith, or Kashyyyk. And then the last one, also with the bunch of Venators, it could be Braca as well. So a bunch of different planets we might be able to see in a different idea and a different light. I do think even if it isn't Kashyyyk that we see in the trailer, we'll probably see Kashyyyk because the Bad Batch is a place for them to use old Clone Wars episodes ideas they weren't able to use. Of course, ones like The Dark Disciple have already been written off as books, but the arc that we were supposed to see of why Yoda has good relations with Wookiees on Kashyyyk, we never got to see, but the Bad Batch featured in that arc. So we could see that arc here as one of the early ones and then move more into them transitioning past the Empire coming in.
So I've got a few thoughts on that trailer. First of all, I wasn't super excited about this show going into it. just because like the Bad Batch episodes were cool, but now I'm really digging it because they're doing exactly what I thought they would, which is basically be an epilogue to the Clone Wars.
Mm-hmm.
So I think when we see them on Camino, I think they come back from a mission, get to Camino, and they're standing with that battalion of troopers when Order 66 like happens. So they get to be on the front lines, or they get to see the clones actually turn. We still don't know whether or not they have their chips in. We also don't know if Echo has his chip in. That's going to be a big wild card right there too.
Yeah.
I think you're totally right that is Zygeria. That was my first thought because we see Hunter face a Zygerian at some point.
Mm-hmm.
The planet, the kind of like water planet from Rogue One, you were close. It wasn't Edu, that was Scarif.
Oh, you think it's Scarif?
Yeah. Well, no. The planet where they're working on the Death Star, which has the big battle at the end, that's Scarif. Edu.
Sorry.
Was, no,
Sorry, I misspoke. It's the planet where Galen Erso dies.
Right.
Yeah, Edu, that one.
Yeah. No, you're all good. You and I were on the same page thinking that could be Kashyyyk, because I would love to see elements of that Clone Wars arc that wasn't finished in there as well. I've also seen online that when you watch this trailer with the subtitles on, one of the Death Trooper looking clones is addressed as Cody in the subtitles. So I really hope we see Cody in there. There's a few characters I would love to see in the Bad Batch. There's rumors going around that Grogu's in Bad Batch, and the way I see it, I don't want to see Grogu in there unless there's a really good reason. I.e., when we were hearing about Grogu's history from Ahsoka in the Jedi episode of The Mandalorian, she says that someone took Grogu from the temple when Order 66 happened. So that's the only way I could see us seeing Grogu in the Bad Batch. Who that Jedi is, I don't know. I just really want to see Quinlan Vos and Commander Cody in this series. Those are like the two big characters that I want to see out of this show.
Yeah. Now, where is Quinlan Vos right now? Do we know?
So it's been strongly hinted in the Darth Vader comics that Quinlan Vos is one of the Jedi that survived Order 66. I think in Legends he survived 66, and there was a bit in the Darth Vader comics where Vader is looking at a list of Jedi believed to have survived, which included Jocasta Nu, and a few others that Vader hunted in that series.
Yeah, because I know that Jocasta Nu died in the 2017 Marvel comic run of Darth Vader.
Yeah.
So yeah, after the Bad Batch, we hear about a totally new show called Star Wars Visions. It is an anthology collection of 10 different visions, all animated by leading Japanese animation studios. So basically, 10 episodes of anime-inspired Star Wars. I think it's going to be great. I personally love the style of anime. I watch some myself. So I'm excited to see what they're able to do. And I love being able to promote other different studios that aren't just Disney being a monopoly.
Do we know in Visions whether or not they're just like redoing scenes from Star Wars, or they're going to be original stories each episode?
I am not sure. The only thing they mentioned is that it's an anthology collection.
Gotcha.
So
yeah,
it might be a mixture, because I think it'd be cool to see reanimated things just to kind of relive them again in different light. But I would also love to see new stories that happen around the area too.
Yeah. The only note I have on that was that I believe this guy was a writer from the old Clone Wars animated show back in the early 2000s.
The 2003 one?
Yeah, there was a writer from that saying that he's happy to announce that he's working on something behind the scenes with Lucasfilm. So people are thinking, are we about to see some Clone Wars type stuff in that old anime style?
That would be awesome. That would be great.
I'd be happy too, especially if it's canon, just so I could see Captain Fordo in the Moonlist 11 actually be canon, or Dirge, or something like that.
Yeah. All right. After that, we got a confirmation of our show Lando will be coming out. There was a sizzle on it, but as we are not investors, we weren't able to see it. The only information we got on it, outside of knowing that there was something the investors got to see, was that it's being developed by Justin Simeon,
who is famous for Dear White People.
Yes.
So, a couple of notes about this. One, we had been hearing that Donald Glover was tied to the project, that it was going to have flat or bits of Donald Glover's Lando and bits of Billy D. Williams' Lando in there, neither of which was confirmed by Kathleen Kennedy. And there have been rumors in the past that Ron Howard, the director of Solo, was going to be tied to a Lucasfilm project where they get to explore more of Han Solo's background with Crimson Dawn and stuff like that. So I'm wondering if this show could be it. At the same time, I don't know. We really don't know anything about Lando right now, except for it's happening and who's directing it.
Yeah, and I mean, I would love to see Donald Glover's Lando be here because I mean, it seems to be the right age for like the core, like best known Lando we have. If this is indeed the project, we get to see Ron Howard work with some of the Crimson Dawn information. That would be great because then it would finally one give something for Darth Maul to be talking about at the end of Solo, and two, we would get to see more Darth Maul, which I think in this context would be nice because I think he's definitely been burnt out in recent years.
Mhm.
But this is a totally different version of him because he's kind of just like the overseer of the Crimson Dawn, and it's the original like Ray Park Darth Maul, and not the Clone Wars or animated one that we've seen for years and years now.
Yeah, and we could get to see Maul be the one pulling the strings for once.
Yes, yeah, it'd be great. After Lando, we got an announcement of the Acolyte, which is something totally different. It is being brought by Leslie Headland, and it is set in the final days of the High Republic, which is something we have never seen before. Lucasfilm is only just now breaking into canonizing and working with the High Republic in their comic series, which the High Republic is just about 1,000 or so years before the Republic we see in prequels.
It's 200.
200?
Yeah, because Yoda's around.
Ah, oopsie daisy.
That's
But
all
yeah,
good.
I mean, we're gonna see something before something canon before the prequels, which is just awesome.
This was definitely one of the shows that blindsided us. We know
Mhm.
nothing about it. We know its title. We know the setting. That's it. So, and I am very interested in seeing the Sith from a new side, where they're actually seen as kind of like the good guys or the protagonists.
Yeah, and it's also going to be a female-led show. That's just about all we know about it. So yeah, very
Sweet.
mysterious. After that, we got a quick announcement that something coming from Lucasfilm Animation and Industrial Light and Magic, a combination of the animation from Lucasfilm and Lucasfilm's kind of film production company that helps with Mandalorian. This is something called A Droid Story, which follows R2D2 and C3PO again. So
Don't
I'm assuming this is just the kid show.
don't you dare gaslight the best thing that was announced there. I'll just kidding. I'm
Droid
just
Story
kidding.
better than Lando, better than Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Yeah, I'm just kidding. Yeah, I'll watch it. Sounds fun.
Yep.
We'll probably need something light after watching Grogu get murdered by Moff Gideon season 4 of Mandalorian.
Stop. Don't talk about killing Grogu like that.
Sorry.
The last two things mentioned about Star Wars were a new Star Wars feature film being written by Taika Waititi, and that's all we know about it. It's a movie being written by Taika Waititi.
And that
Um,
it is about, I think he wanted to say, or they said, in the distant future from the Skywalker saga. So
Yeah.
very interested in what he's gonna do there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and Taika already has experience with working with Star Wars through Mandalorian, so
Hmm.
it's gonna be great. The other thing, which actually is a bit farther along, is a movie called Rogue Squadron, new Star Wars feature film directed by Patty Jenkins, who directed Wonder Woman, and it's coming Christmas of 2023.
That one blindsided me, and I'm so glad that the internet decided to check in on Star Wars Explained after that was announced, because he's a huge like fighter pilot fan. So everyone's just like, "Hey, buddy, you okay?" He's just like, "Yeah, I think I've ascended." So yeah, that one blindsided me. I'm super happy that they've been able to rope Patty Jenkins into Star Wars.
Yeah.
And all we know so far is that it is not going to be a direct copy of Rogue Squadron from Legends, but it will be heavily based off the books and the games.
Now, could you explain for me and people who aren't super sure about it, what is Rogue Squadron?
Well, I just know that Rogue Squadron was, based off of, or the first time we saw a Rogue Squadron was from Rogue One.
Hmm.
And from there, it just became one of the best squadrons and one of the most famous squadrons from, Star Wars Legends and, actual canon. Because Rogue Squadron was what Luke Skywalker flew in during the Battle of Hoth. Um, yeah, I mean, they're just one of the famous squadrons from Star Wars. I myself not too familiar with Legends material, but I'm super excited that we're going to see some sort of canon version of it, especially as a theatrical movie. I'll steal this from you. There was a
Okay.
couple projects that weren't even mentioned. So apparently there's two other animated shows coming from Lucasfilm that wasn't brought up. There are many people that believe that Ezra Bridger's story from Rebels will be continued in an animated Rebel sequel. So whether or not the Ahsoka show, which is live action, ties into it, or whether or not his story is continued in a Rebel sequel is to be seen. We don't know. The other animated show that's in development that isn't being or that wasn't brought up at the Disney investor call is a High Republic animated show. So there's a lot of chatter going on about that because when you think about it, the Lucasfilm animation department is done with Bad Batch. They're assumingly working on the Droid Tales show in conjunction with ILM.
Hmm.
So after that, it's kind of like, what are they doing? They're always working on something. They were working on Resistance quite a while before Rebels was even done. So you
Hmm.
gotta think like, Bad Batch is basically done, almost done. They're probably putting the final touches on it. So they're probably
Yeah.
pretty deep into another project right now.
Yeah. Could be interesting.
So, and the other two live action projects that haven't been mentioned was the fact that Boba Fett, which assumingly started filming a few weeks ago, or he could be filming as a part of something else. We don't really know.
Yeah, it could be a Boba Fett show specifically, or he could like feature in the Rangers TV show. We're not sure about that one either.
Lastly, there was something that you and I didn't even talk about before the podcast that wasn't even mentioned. Do you remember the fact that Ryan Johnson's doing a trilogy?
I totally forgot about the fact. Yeah, Ryan Johnson is doing a trilogy, isn't he?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I think his trilogy is taking place before the Phantom Menace, or I think it's rumored to be. We haven't heard anything.
I'm all for it. We can get a KOTOR series from Ryan Johnson. That'd be great.
Yeah, I think that was the funny thing that was said too, where it's just like it's gonna be around that age, but it's not KOTOR. I'm like, okay, what?
What else is there? It's just KOTOR.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, outside of all the Star Wars announcements we got from Lucasfilm, they also announced three other projects. They are doing a run of a series based off of Willow. Warwick Davis will be returning as the lead character. It's being directed by John Chu, who's known for Crazy Rich Asians. The shooting begins in March 2021 in Wales, and it debuts in 2022.
Okay. I mean, I know the director. I know Warwick Davis. I don't know Willow.
I don't either. A reaction I saw to some Star Wars information, the guy apparently just absolutely loved Willow, so I got to see someone scream about Warwick Davis. But other than that, I'm not super familiar with it either. But I think it was like an 80s or 90s movie.
Okay.
Um, yeah, we also got confirmation that Indiana Jones 5 is happening. It's been stuck in production hell for many years now.
The two takeaways I have from that was one, I forgot James Mangold is directing that movie, so
Mhm.
I think he'll do well. It's seeing as how he's known for directing Logan. I think we're gonna see Indy get impaled on something. Also, I love the fact that Kathleen Kennedy had to mention that Harrison Ford will be 80 years old by the time this comes out. I was just like, oh god.
Like, he was old in Indiana Jones 4. Like, this
Yeah,
is ridiculous.
yeah.
But yeah, James Mangold, he's also known for Ford versus Ferrari.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, and it begins shooting late spring of 2021, and it should debut in July of 2022. So it's seemingly finally out of production hell. Hopefully, we'll
Yeah,
see if it
we
actually
say that
comes
now.
out. Just for good lord, for Harrison Ford's sake, I'm sure he's tired of this franchise so much.
I hope to God that Indy doesn't fly a plane at any point in this movie.
Han Solo, who? And then the final project that Lucasfilm announced was a new story adapting Tomi Adeyemi's novel. I think I pronounced that right. Their novel Children of Blood and Bone. They're also partnering with 20th Century Studios for this project.
All right.
Yeah.
So it's cool to see that Lucasfilm is pumping out some content that wasn't tied to Indiana Jones or Star Wars.
Yeah, because they make more than just Star Wars and Indiana Jones. It's great to see them doing what they used to do again, now that they're actually able to flex under Disney. Now, for the Marvel announcements.
Yay.
Yay.
We could probably go through these a little bit quicker too.
Yes, because we knew a lot more about a lot of these.
That was the thing. Before we go into that, something as a Star Wars fan that I've been wanting for quite a while is something that we got at Comic-Con from Marvel in 2019, where they're just like, here's a roadmap, here's what we're doing. And then from Star Wars, they weren't at that Comic-Con, so we were just sitting there for over a year and a half, just kind of like, so what are you guys up to? And they're just like,
what are you doing?
I don't know. So now, like, seeing one of my favorite screenshots from this investors call was Kathleen Kennedy standing in front of the board with like all the different projects in the background. She's like, that's what's going on, eh?
Yes. What a time to be a Star Wars fan. It's not just like you waiting for 30 years for the next movie.
It's just like, oh, okay, that's what's going on. That's pretty cool. The Filoni verse is real.
Mm-hmm. Like you're tapping a tap into a tree. You know, you're getting a few drops out, you get Mandalorian, some sweet sap, and then just all comes running out with all this new content. And it's going to be awesome.
We're going to be busy for a while.
Yes, sir. All right, now, for Marvel, we begun the Marvel section by, him scaring away Pete Docter from Pixar, so that was pretty great. Because Pixar stole Chris Evans for their Lightyear movie. But after Kevin Feige thoroughly scared Pete Docter off screen, we got an announcement for WandaVision, which not much else new for it besides a new trailer, and it's of course debuting January 15th.
So with WandaVision and Loki, I get the same vibes of I'm just watching it, and I know not too much about Marvel outside of the MCU, but I'm just kind of sitting there for both the shows. I'm like, what the hell is going on?
Yeah.
I'm excited for both projects, but I'm even more excited because I don't know what's going on. While with, like Mando season 2, like going into the season, we already knew a lot of what's going on. And with Loki and WandaVision, a lot of, the smarter fans kind of get a hint of what's going on. Meanwhile, I'm just sitting there like, bruh, what? What's going on?
Yeah. So, some of the stuff that we got from the most recent WandaVision trailer. Of course, if you didn't already know, each of the 6 episodes that have been confirmed will be taking place in different time periods of different sitcoms. So we'll get 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, early 90s, and late 90s / maybe little 2000s.
I think they said that one of the later episodes is going to have a vibe where it's like The Office. I'm like, oh boy.
Yeah, also, it's kind of great that Elizabeth Olsen is doing a project about sitcoms where her 2 older sisters are best known for their role in Full House, a sitcom, so,
Wait, they were in Full House? I thought they were too busy working out their makeup brand.
Well, they didn't have a makeup brand when they were 8, so, or even younger.
Step it up.
Step it up. Man, God, Olsen twins, come on. So, the thing that we got to see a little bit were the transitions between each decade seem to be just forced upon them, as we're seeing more and more. This is not not under Wanda's control. It's all just
chaos magic.
It's chaos being controlled for her, seemingly like trying to harvest her chaos magic. Maybe, I'm not sure, but the transitions seem to be forced upon them. The one that we got to see in this most recent trailer, moving into Technicolor, it seems to be like the transitions between the decades. Not only are they transitions between styles, but also between Wanda and Vision's lives. Going from black and white to Technicolor, Wanda seems to suddenly become pregnant. Skipping over, of course, how that might happen with an android, but also, for
Disney magic. Disney
magic. Other things that we are still unaware of as we're going into it. We don't know who Agnes is, the other character that seems to be her neighbor, Wanda's neighbor, Catherine Hahn's character. There's a theory that Agnes is short for Agatha Harkness, who is a character who in the comics is a witch neighbor to Wanda and one of Mephisto's servants. Mephisto is highly theorized to show up sometime in Phase 4. So maybe it's here. There's something that we get to see a little bit Mephisto-y in Loki as well. But Agnes wears the same kind of pendant on her throughout each time frame, which could be a tie to something that she's also doing.
We also see some Monica Rambeau.
Yes, we get to see Monica Rambeau, which is she's the little girl that we got to see in Captain Marvel, and she gets to return in Captain Marvel 2, which we'll talk about later. There's a character who wears a beekeeper costume. We're not entirely sure who that is. Again, maybe Mephisto. We're not sure. We're also unsure with who's interfering with Wanda's world. We get to see some agents of S.W.O.R.D. outside this time. S.H.I.E.L.D. has kind of crumbled since we saw them in, Winter Soldier and just dying past then. S.W.O.R.D. is something similar, because, S.W.O.R.D. and S.H.I.E.L.D. and whatnot. But S.W.O.R.D. is kind of the international organization, more militaristic than S.H.I.E.L.D. was. And then the last thing that I wanted to mention from the trailer is that final shot where we see Wanda mesmerized by the Mind Stone. She doesn't really look like she does in any of the time frames. It looks like this could be a callback to her first shot we ever got to see her in the post credit scene in Winter Soldier, where we see them as enhanced because they weren't legally allowed to use the term mutant at the time. So it could be calling back to just show how she was formed and how important this connection to the Mind Stone is for her. But other than that, yeah, just still wonky, crazy sitcom stuff.
And it's coming soon.
Coming soon, super soon. After that, we got some more information about Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. I apologize if I butcher this pronunciation, but a new star, Xochitl Gomez, will be playing character America Chavez. The movie will release March 25th, 2022, and it will connect directly to WandaVision and also directly to an as of yet untitled Spider-Man 3, which should be releasing December of 2021.
I think out of all the Phase 4 projects, this is the one I'm most excited for, just because it seems like Doctor Strange 2 and Thor 4 are going to be the heavy-hitting titles of Phase 4 that's really going to start propelling us into Phase 5. Also because Doctor Strange can easily set up all the multiverse stuff for the future.
Yeah, there's a theory that because of the order that things happen, Wanda, for some reason, gets super mad and her chaos magic just rips the multiverse open. Spider-Man has to deal with it, and then Doctor Strange helps kind of control it down.
And we still know that the villain too is Nightmare.
Yes. Also, do you know who America Chavez is?
America Chavez is, and I do actually know this off the top of my head, that
Nice.
because I learned this in one of my classes at JMU because of how important she is, like in a real world sense.
Mm-hmm.
She is Marvel's first American LGBTQ Latinx teenager. She has the power to, she has flight, strength. She can shoot energy from her hands like Captain Marvel, but she can literally hit you so hard she can knock you into another dimension.
Oh, good. That's gonna be fun for this movie.
Yeah. Just imagine, some guy's robbing a store. America Chavez walks in. Bam! You're now in an alternate dimension where Kim Jong-un is just the president of America.
Oh God! Don't talk. Don't no.
Do I have to cut that? We'll cut it.
Don't talk about it. But I'm excited because this is also confirmed to be, like we saw with Star Wars, a bit of a genre change for Marvel. This is a horror film, or at least a thriller. This is going to be totally different from anything we've seen so far. I guess technically you could count the New Mutants as a Marvel film, which is horror, but this is going to be, like bigger tie-in to MCU kind of movie. And also, the New Mutants was trapped in development hell for a while as well, and didn't.
That
end
was
up
the other
as good
movie. I couldn't remember. It's just like, who else was trapped in development hell? I was like, oh yeah, that
the
movie.
New Mutants. Yeah, it wasn't as good as it could have been, but it's out. That's good.
I'm glad one of us saw it.
Yeah. After the Spider-Man 3 kind of pseudo announcement, we got some more information on The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. It is launching March 19th of this year, 2021, and it was confirmed to have 6 episodes as well. And we also got to see a trailer from them.
Yeah, this trailer really excited me. One, I just love the banter back and forth between the two of them. I could watch them just go back and forth for a couple hours. And also that big cinematic shot of Falcon flying through a canyon, maybe the Grand Canyon.
That canyon was amazing.
And I was just sitting there just like, this isn't a movie? Like, what?
Yeah,
what?
This is a TV show.
Yeah. So do we also know whether or not this is a limited series or there's going to be multiple seasons?
I think it is a limited series of 6 episodes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Uh, with that being said, I don't know if we've heard of any of these shows being a limited season or a limited series, or if there's going to be multiple seasons. It's really looking
Yeah.
like it's not, or they're all limited series.
Yeah, the only one that I think could possibly be a continuation series like Mandalorian is might be Andor, back from Star Wars. I could see that getting more than just the 12 episodes, but otherwise everything seems to be basically just limited series.
Yeah, which is a
Um,
little sad. I think the only other, like the only Marvel series that could be multiple seasons is that if in 5 years they come back to What If again with all their other different projects.
yeah.
But I guess that'd be it, really.
Yeah. So some of the stuff that we get to see in the Falcon Winter Soldier trailer, Bucky has his dog tags in one of the first scenes. Which, like, how does he get his dog tags back if Hydra seems to have taken them? But it could be theorized that maybe Zemo gives them back to him in that scene where we see Bucky's hand and Zemo above it. The country that we get to see them in, the Asian-inspired country that kind of looks like the scene in Black Panther, I think is Madripoor, which is one of the Marvel-specific fake countries, which is right next to Singapore. So this is further world building where we get to see Sokovia, Wakanda, now Madripoor. We get to see them doing some stuff where like the high part of the city is all super duper luxurious and crazy, like rich, and the lower part of the city is just like, scum, crime, villainy, all that kind of stuff.
Oh, so you mean Coruscant?
Yeah, you know what? It's Marvel Coruscant. It's fine.
Well,
Next,
I mean, you basically described another movie there. You said it's crazy, it's rich, and it's Asian.
wow. So the next scene we see with the girl putting on that mask with the hand on it. I think these are the Flag Smashers, which is a group inspired by the Flag Smasher, one of Captain America's villains in the comics. They may be the ones helping break Zemo out, but I'm not sure because Zemo was last left in a prison after Civil War, and of course we somehow see him get out. Besides that, we also see Zemo standing at a monument with the logo in the front of it of Sokovia, so it's a monument for the Sokovia disaster, which of course Zemo is from Sokovia. That's what caused him to begin Civil War. One of the characters I didn't notice until rewatching and watching some breakdowns and whatnot was on the football field we see, and also later on in the scene where we have two trucks driving next to each other, we get to see U.S. Agent, which is someone the government tries to replace Cap with in a vain attempt to have a symbol of America. And then yeah, that canyon sequence at the end of it was great. I cannot wait to see the action, the banter between Bucky and Sam. Yeah. All right, so next after Falcon and Winter Soldier, we got a little bit more information on Black Widow, which will be releasing in theaters, it said, May 7th, 2021.
This one definitely surprised me a little bit just because we see Warner Brothers and HBO Max really like embrace their streaming service and decide to just have everything come out to HBO Max in 2021, which quote me here now, that's not actually going to be the plan. But I'm a little surprised and a little sad that Marvel is going to keep Black Widow in the theaters. Well, all right, I wouldn't say I'm sad. As someone who subscribes to Disney Plus, I would have loved to have it come out on Disney Plus earlier. But as someone that loves to go to the theaters, I'm okay with it.
Yeah, and I'm surprised they didn't announce, like, if they do a theater thing, like they're doing with Raya and the Last Dragon. I'm surprised they're not doing a theater, but also premium access on Disney Plus.
Right.
But we'll see what happens. It is, it's half a year away, so we'll see what ends up with that. After Black Widow was a nice big old trailer drop for Loki. It will be debuting in May of 2021. The cast includes Owen Wilson, Gugu Mbatha Raw, Sophia DiMartino, Wunmi Mosaku, and Richard E. Grant. It is a crime thriller genre, another new genre we get to see in the MCU. And like I
Yeah.
said, big old trailer for Loki.
Yeah, this one was loaded with stuff. The only couple things that I noted is that it looks like Richard E. Grant is going to play, or it looks like we're going to see a bunch of different versions of Loki in this one.
Yeah.
I'm thinking the woman that we saw in there wasn't Black Widow in the Soul Stone. I'm thinking that's female Loki. I think Richard E. Grant is going to kind of be like the big bad guy and be the classic Loki.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, and other things that I noticed, the Tesseract travel looks like Bifrost. So that's interesting. We don't actually get to see how the Space Stone gets to work until now. Seems to be maybe it gave the Bifrost power, considering Odin had it for a while, but yeah. We see Loki captured by the TVA, the Time Variance Authority. which you could call them time cops, but that's too cool. They're like a time bureaucratic organization, government and whatnot. The Owen Wilson character we get to see in the elevator, he is Mobius M. Mobius, according to the subtitles. He is a very recurring TVA agent throughout the comics, and of course, Mobius is reference to the Mobius strip, which is the structure that Tony Stark uses to figure out time travel in Endgame.
I see.
Yes, the hooded figure is going to be female Loki, like you said. There's a scene where Mobius is receiving something from a young girl, and behind them is a stained glass image of what I also think could be Mephisto. It's a very devil-looking character, and Mephisto is Marvel Devil. The little like the moon planet, the planet with the moon descending over female Loki. Yeah, I think that's more looking like female Loki because I think if it was like the Soul Stone dimension, it would be more orange.
Right.
Even though I would love to see more of Natasha past her movie. There are also references to the fact that they're bringing in the God of Mischief to explain like American or weird urban legends. For example, we see Loki as DB Cooper in this trailer. DB Cooper is basically like the mystery man. That might not even be his real name. Supposedly, he hijacked a plane with a bunch of money in a suitcase. He was able to jump out of the plane and was never found, save for a few bills in the river over where he jumped. So, in the scene, we see Loki, who looks very much like the drawings of what DB Cooper could have looked like. We see him jump out of the plane, and how they explain DB Cooper disappearing is that Loki's picked up by the Bifrost and a few bills fly out of a suitcase. So,
Yeah.
that's awesome. And the last thing that we noticed in the trailer was in the very last scene where all of Loki's friends, draw weapons on him right before the end. Off to the side, we see a Polybius arcade cabinet. Polybius was a video game that never really existed, or did it? We're not sure. The theory is that Polybius was a video game that existed to like create or to gather like mind data from its players, and every now and then you would see like men in black suits, black agents walking in and grabbing data from this game, like this weird conspiracy theory. We see that game in the show, so it's just Loki creating mischief all over wherever he's going, in addition to, solving time heists or whatever. So yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah, I mean, like I said before, with WandaVision and Loki, I'm just sitting here like, I don't know what's going on, but I'm excited.
So after Loki, we got a trailer for What If, just kind of going through some of the things that we could see, such as instead of Captain America, it's Captain UK with Peggy instead of Chris Evans. That's not his name, And for the biggest thing that I'm excited for is Marvel Zombies. It's gonna be great.
Yeah.
That's gonna be cool.
I'm excited for that too. We got a lot of cool stuff in there, and I'm very excited for this project.
Yeah. After that, we got a little bit of information on Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. The cast will be including Awkwafina, which her name was brought up like 3 or 4 times this presentation. So good job on her.
Yeah, she's making them Disney dollars right now.
Disney bucks, yeah. Also, Tony Leung, I think, Michelle Yeoh, and releases July 9th, 2021.
Looking forward to this one, also because I'm just trying to figure out how they're going to connect this to the rest of the MCU. This and the Eternals are kind of like the Phase 4 projects where I'm just like, I don't see how it's going to connect to the MCU as a whole, but I'm still looking forward to it.
Kind of like when we first got like Doctor Strange, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. After that, we got some more information on the TV show Miss Marvel. Iman Vellani will be playing Kamala Khan. The directors and producers include Adil El Arbi, Bilal Fallah, Mira Menon, and Sharmeen Obaid-Chinoy. I hope I pronounced those right. Basically, a full Pakistani production team. We will also be able to see Iman Vellani featuring as Kamala Khan in Captain Marvel 2, because Miss Marvel's idol is Captain Marvel.
We also saw Kamala wearing a t-shirt in this one, in one scene that had a Captain Marvel and Monica Rambeau on the front doing like a power high five.
Nice.
Yeah, so I love that. I love the fandom that she has.
Yeah, and speaking of Monica Rambeau, we get to see her again, grown up in Captain Marvel 2, same character we got to see in WandaVision. After that, a bit more information on Eternals, featuring a massive cast, including a few of the big names such as Angelina Jolie, Gemma Chan, Richard Madden, Salma Hayek, and many more. It will be releasing November 5th, 2021.
I'm sad that since this movie was supposed to come out last month, we still haven't seen like anything from it.
Yeah.
We probably won't see anything from it until after Black Widow drops, so.
Yeah, because I think it is the next movie to drop after Black Widow.
Yeah, that'd be correct because everything got pushed back 1 year exactly. So
Yeah, so it's gonna go like Black Widow, Eternals, Spider-Man 3, Doctor Strange as the first few.
yeah.
Hawkeye will be releasing late 2021. Hawkeye himself, Jeremy Renner, will be teaming up with Kate Bishop, played by Haley Steinfeld. It will be directed by Rhys Thomas and Burton Birdie.
Haley Steinfeld already looks great as Kate Bishop. We've seen a lot of pictures leaked from set this past week, and she was like already up there as one of the top fan casts for the Kate Bishop character. So I'm very excited for her.
Yeah. Some more new information. She-Hulk will be directed by Kat Coiro and Anu Valia. Tatiana Maslany will be playing Jennifer Walters, who is She-Hulk. Tim Roth and Mark Ruffalo will return as Abomination from the Incredible Hulk movie back in 2008 or so. And then Mark Ruffalo is returning as the Hulk. And because Jennifer Walters is a lawyer and dealing with kind of the legal battles between superhero whatnots, we are expected to see many cameos, as Kevin Feige mentioned.
Yeah. So a couple things from that. I remember there was some drama a couple months ago where it was leaked that Tatiana Maslany would be She-Hulk. And then on Instagram, she's like, hey, guys, I'm not She-Hulk. And even like Mark Ruffalo had already welcomed her into the Hulk family. So we were all just kind of sitting there like, wait, what? What's going on?
Oopsie daisy.
Did someone not tell Mark what's going on? It turns out, no, she is playing She-Hulk.
Yep.
And kind of interesting that they are actually bringing Tim Roth back to play Abomination. I thought that was a one-time thing. And
Yeah.
I would love to see, Daredevil in this because, he's one of the 34 million people that's rumored to be in Spider-Man Home by 6 or whatever they're going to call it.
Spider-Man Home by 6.
So
Yeah.
whatever they're calling that one.
One of my favorite announcements we got Thursday was more information on Moon Knight. It is an Indiana Jones style show directed by Mohammed Yaab, and it looks into Egyptian mythology. Moon Knight himself will be played by Oscar Isaac, who's known for Poe Dameron in the sequel trilogy. And Moon Knight, the character, has dissociative identity disorder, meaning that a lot of the main characters will just be different identities that Moon Knight struggles with.
I would love it if like Oscar Isaac is like the real version of Moon Knight, and each different identity by Moon Knight is played by a different actor. That would be kind of hilarious. Look, this is the Marvel show I'm looking forward to the most, just because 1, I love Egyptology. 2, I love Indiana Jones. 3, I love Oscar Isaac. 4, Moon Knight is hilarious. Like,
he's awesome. Yeah.
I don't know how many like Moon Knight memes you've seen, but like he's just fantastic.
The big one that I've seen is him like going down the staircase like, all right, Dracula, you big effing nerd, give me my money or something like that.
Yeah. There's a meme where from the comics where Moon Knight kept calling the Avengers headquarters. It's Spider-Man. It's just like, hey, stop calling here. He was just like, why? I'm looking for Dracula. He told me he's in the Avengers. And they're like, no, Dracula's not an Avenger. Moon Knight just gets mad. He also has a conversation with the Punisher where the Punisher is just like, hey, how's your false god? And he's like, pretty good. How's your dead family?
Oh.
Either way, I'm looking forward to Moon Knight so much.
Yeah. After that, we got some information on Secret Invasion, a TV show starring Samuel L. Jackson and Ben Mendelsohn as Nick Fury and Talos. It is also mentioned that this will tie directly into an MCU film. My theory is that Secret Invasion, where Skrull take over as people, anyone that we know, it could tie into a movie that goes over Secret Wars. So I'm excited because Secret Invasion was something that was rumored to be like Spider-Man 3's plot, because we got to see a little bit of like what Nick Fury has been doing at the end of Spider-Man 2, Far From Home. So very interesting. I'm excited.
I had heard about Samuel L. Jackson returning to do a Nick Fury show. I was just like, I wasn't believing it too much just because I was like, what could he possibly be doing? And then it was like, oh, Secret Invasions. Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, that works.
Yeah, that makes sense. So I'm very excited for this also because Samuel L. Jackson and Ben Mendelsohn had great back and forth in Far From Home and Captain Marvel. So very happy that these guys are returning to do something, especially such a big project. So
After that, another project that was mentioned that will tie into an MCU film will be Ironheart. featuring Dominique Thorne as Riri Williams.
Yeah, that one came out of left field. There have been no rumors about that at all, so I'm happy. I'm happy to see this character, and with a lot of these shows, I'm happy to learn about more characters that I'd heard of before, but I hadn't yet really known anything about them. So
yeah, another Iron Person thing is Armor Wars, starring Don Cheadle as Jim Rhodes, or War Machine. It goes over what happens when Tony Stark's tech falls into the wrong hands.
So I'm a little hesitant about this project just because, one, I love War Machine, I love Rhodey, I love Don Cheadle. I've never really seen him as someone that could carry the lead or be the main star.
He's kind of used as like comic relief or backup usually.
Yeah, but either way, like I'm happy that he gets to try that for the first time. But the premise of the show is War Machine finds out what happens when Tony Stark's technology falls into the wrong hands. Isn't that the plot of all 3 Iron Man movies?
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, so I'm
Iron Man 4.
I'm a little hesitant about that stuff, but at the same time, like there hasn't really been any bad products that come out of Marvel for a long time. Yeah. So I think they'll have it fine. I'll be happy to see Justin Hammer return just because Hammer's a big MCU or a big Tony Stark villain. So
oh man, I'd love to see him return because he was like my favorite character in all of Iron Man 2. So
yeah.
All right, next we have an announcement of the Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special. Something they weren't ever really able to do before, but now they get to do stupid holiday stuff.
That's right. You don't have Twitter. James Gunn tweeted after this. He's just like, "Look, I've literally been pitching this for like years. Like this is happening, and so they're going to be filming it during Guardians 3. So I'm happy that they're not pulling all these people off of busy projects to film this holiday special and then send them away and then call them back to do Guardians 3."
Yeah, which means the Guardians 3 is also coming out pretty soon after that. Holiday Special is dropping holiday of 2022, and Guardians 3 will be dropping 2023 of some kinds, sometime within that year. Also within the same universe, we get a series of shorts called I Am Groot, just a bunch of Baby Groot stuff.
Cool. I'll watch it.
Yeah, same. We got some more information on Thor Love and Thunder. It begins filming in January. Of course, Taika Waititi is directing. Returning cast includes Chris Hemsworth, Natalie Portman, and Tessa Thompson. The new announcement, though, is that Christian Bale will be playing the villain called Gore the God Butcher, and it will be releasing May 6th, 2022.
That's him playing Gore the God Butcher is something that a lot of us were thinking that he was going to be doing. So I'm happy they confirmed that is what he'll be doing. And I mean, and this all just ties back to Dark Knight. You either die a hero or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain.
Oh no!
And I am 1,000,000% convinced that. Do you remember during National Geographic's stuff for the Disney Plus investor call that Chris Hemsworth is getting a show where like they basically have him do a bunch of crazy stuff? Yeah, you cannot convince me that that's not just him training for Thor 4.
I mean, they could also film some of Thor 4 on location for Nat Geo stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
So, you know.
Yeah. So like him just swimming in the Arctic and him doing a bunch of other crazy stuff. I'm just like, no, that's just him training for Thor 4. Like,
oh yeah.
Let's be real here.
Yeah, it wasn't mentioned here, but I think Chris Pratt will also be showing up in Thor 4 at some point.
Right.
So,
yeah, I heard that too. I don't know, or I don't remember if that was confirmed. Look, we had 25 Marvel projects and 13 Star Wars projects. I can't keep track of what was confirmed.
Yeah. Well, a nice short and sweet one for you is that they just reminded us that Blade exists and it's starring Mahershala Ali, and that's all we got on it.
Yeah, and the only other rumors I think we had heard was that Wesley Snipes wasn't going to be in the movie, but he is assisting on it. What's the term here?
Co-directing?
No, he's not co-directing. It's just he's advising on it or something. Either way, like Wesley Snipes isn't in the project, but he's helping the project.
The last big one is Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, the third Ant-Man movie. It will be directed by Peyton Reed. Returning cast, of course, Paul Rudd, Evangeline Lilly, Michael Douglas, and Michelle Pfeiffer. Some new information: Catherine Newton will be joining as Cassie Lang. And Jonathan Majors will join as Kang the Conqueror.
I am super excited about Jonathan Majors as Kang the Conqueror. This is something we've been hearing for a while, and I'm happy they confirmed it.
Yeah, Kang is like the natural leg up from Thanos. Thanos wants to reset the universe. Kang wants to reset the multiverse. So that's the bigger threat now.
And the other big piece that ties Ant-Man and the Wasp into future projects, well, Kang at least, is because Kang is apparently the direct descendant of Dr. Reed Richards, Mr.
Yes.
Fantastic. I'm very excited about this project. I'm glad that Ant-Man and the Wasp movies aren't going to be back burner jokes. I'm very interested to also see if they're going to bring back the Fish, aka Lawrence Fishburne, as Goliath.
Yeah. Two quick announcements to end off everything. We had an announcement that Black Panther 2 will be happening. They will not be recasting T'Challa. They mourned his loss and mentioned some stuff about him while having the Marvel logo with all just Black Panther and Chadwick Boseman stuff in the background, similarly to how they had the one for Stan Lee in Captain Marvel. So he will not be recast, but they said they wanted to honor his contributions within the next movie in that universe, explore it more. It will be directed by Ryan Coogler again, and it should be releasing July 8th, 2022.
You know that that opening Marvel title card sequence with Chadwick Boseman in it is how it is now on the Black Panther movie on Disney Plus. They changed that.
Oh, that's awesome. I love that.
Yeah, that's
Wow.
what it is. They changed it like I think a month ago. I had also seen before Chadwick's unfortunate passing that a lot of people were wanting Black Panther 2 to be Black Panther 2 Two Kings and have it be T'Challa versus Namor.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah,
would have been,
I saw Namor a lot.
yeah, and that'd be really cool if they did that. I don't know. Well, you would think that there has to be some major script changes now.
Yeah, my personal theory is that the main character will be Shuri now.
Yeah.
Or Shuri, or maybe even the projects that T'Challa started, because we get to see T'Challa's impact, but also honoring Chadwick's impact.
Mhm.
So it'd be really cool. And as you were mentioning earlier, the final announcement we got from anything was that Fantastic Four will be coming soon, and it will be directed by John Watts.
Yeah, not sure how I feel about John Watts directing it just yet.
Yeah.
I'm definitely excited for it. I just want to know who they've casted. And I also think there have been rumors before that Peyton Reed was going to be attached to Fantastic Four, but I'm glad that he isn't, just because they're making Ant-Man 3 a big movie. Like,
Yeah.
to me, on my radar, after Phase 4 or going into Phase 5, Ant-Man 3 or Ant-Man the Wasp 3 and Fantastic Four are going to be the biggest projects of Phase 5 already. Like, Blade's important, Black Panther 2 is important, Captain Marvel 2 is important, but those two are going to be the big heavy hitters.
Those are the big like MCU story pushers. But that was everything we got. We got all that Star Wars information, all that Marvel information. So
Oh,
I am so excited.
Are you sure that's it? Did we
I'm
miss
not sure.
anything?
Do you have more?
No, I'm just saying we've just talked about 38 different projects. So,
Yeah.
so
And
with
you
that
you heard all the names of the other ones that I mentioned. I probably even missed some. So
yeah,
yeah.
there's a lot in there. So,
Mhm.
so anyways, thank you all so much for tuning into this week's first of possibly 2 episodes.
Yep.
So I hope to hear from y'all, or I hope you all get to listen to us in a few minutes as we record yet another episode.
Yeah. This is Rhinoceros and Sasquatch signing off.
All right, talk to y'all in a little while.
See ya.